Have you ever felt that you are not valued in your work? Or perhaps, do you feel that you have made an effort to make a person fall in love and you do not manage to conquer them? Do your friends go out and forget that you exist? Or worse, have you ever felt betrayed? Disgusted by the betrayal of a close friend? Surely yes, that's why you've come to the right video. Take a pen and paper. It is necessary that you write down and understand well the following psychological strategies that will make the people around you give you that attention you deserve. They will no longer forget that you exist. The next time they go out, you will be the first to be invited. And at work, everyone will value your knowledge or ideas. I assure you. Seneca says, "Accept the circumstances around you and work with them for your benefit." Use Seneca's example and apply these tools that I'm giving you in your life. Of course, it is necessary that you follow the following keys to the letter to be everyone's priority. In addition, at some point in the video, I am going to tell you my story of overcoming. I was someone who felt frustrated for not being understood, for feeling potential in myself, but that no one took it into account. These keys that I will tell you below were my inspiration. I applied them in life, and you can't imagine how much they helped me to be taken into account. Stay the whole video, so you know the strategies and my full story. Okay, now without further ado, let's get started. Psychological strategy that will give you priority number 1. Create the fear of missing out. People often don't value what's always available. However, if they fear losing it, they will begin to truly appreciate it. Imagine being that person who, if he were missing, would leave a huge void impossible to fill. For others, you are not just an option, you are their deepest need. True friendship is that which is found in the emptiness of the heart. Khalil Gibran. For this great Lebanese poet and philosopher, friendship is based on mutual understanding and acceptance. We can also interpret this for most of the people around us, because they will be attracted to you, seeing that you have something that they do not, and that's where it all begins. Teach them that they are the ones who can depend on you, not you on them. You must show them that your world revolves around much more than just them. Think of a person you admire a lot. Why do you admire her? Is it because it's always available to you? Or is it because they are an independent and confident person who adds incomparable value to your life? You are fiercely independent, self-confident, and complete on your own. Your life is an exciting adventure where you don't need anyone else to feel fulfilled. Confidence and self-reliance are your secret weapons. Your world is vibrant and exciting, and you don't depend on anyone to make it so. You're not here to chase love or beg for crumbs of attention. You're here to inspire them to pursue you and beg for your attention. Let the fear of losing yourself grow. Allow them to seek your attention on their own. Make them realize that you are a valuable gem that they cannot afford to lose in this game. You're not just a contender. You're the champion they can't afford to let slip away. Psychological strategy that will give you priority number 2. Don't always give away your valuable time. According to the Stoic philosopher Seneca, it is not that we have little time, but that we lose a lot. Therefore, we must be aware of how we use our time and with whom we share it. We cannot always be available to others, but we have to reserve spaces for ourselves, to cultivate our virtues and enjoy our passions. Thus, we will not depend on anyone's approval or interest, but we will be masters of our own happiness. This does not mean that we are indifferent or arrogant, but that we give ourselves the value we deserve. By doing so, we will also attract people who respect and appreciate us for who we are, not what they expect of us. Balance is the key. Let us not be slaves or tyrants of others, but friends who accompany and enrich each other. These Stoic teachings are valuable to love ourselves, to give ourselves that priority we deserve, because who will want to prioritize us if we do not prioritize ourselves? To work psychologically, we must keep in mind that the most valuable things are rarely available everywhere and at all times. In the same way, you should not always be available to anyone who wants it. What do you think they do with Channel's garments when they are not sold? Well, they don't make discounts, they burn them. Why should you downplay your time? It shows that your time is money. Psychological strategy that will give you priority number 3. Keep the mystery going. We love mystery by nature. Hasn't it happened to you that you watch a movie that, no matter how much you consider it bad, you stay at the end to be able to know what ends up happening? Well, the third strategy is to keep the mystery of ourselves with the people around us. For them, we could use the scarcity effect. We can use this effect for the previous 2 strategies, but for this one, it's also perfect. It is based on the increase in value or interest given to something when it is perceived as scarce, limited, or difficult to achieve. Give him little information about you, and you will see how throughout the cohabitation, that person will want to delve deeper into your personality. Don't you love mystery? It fascinates me. In human relationships, it is good to keep a little mystery, not to let go of everything you are and what you like from the first moment. I like to leave some things up in the air, drop subtle clues about my passions and my dreams. This way, I get others to be curious to know more about me, to ask me, to look for me. I think it's a way to make them see that I'm someone interesting, that I have something to offer, that I'm a challenge. I don't want to be an open book. I want to be a puzzle that is put together little by little. That way, I become a priority for someone, without the need to beg or demand. What else can I do to be interesting? Well, I think it's also important to have confidence in yourself, show a sense of humor, listen to others and share experiences. Psychological strategy that will give you priority number 4. Let them invest in you. After having aroused interest in yourself, what do you think comes next? Exactly. Receive care. Marcus Aurelius says, "Time is limited, and we cannot make it up once we lose it. Therefore, we should use it wisely and not waste it on vain, trivial, or harmful things. Don't act like you have 10,000 years ahead of you. Fate hangs over you. As long as you live, while it is in your power, be good." The Stoic philosophers considered our time valuable because it is a limited and non-renewable resource. According to them, we should use our time wisely and virtuously, avoiding waste, distraction, and procrastination. For the Stoics, time is an opportunity to exercise our reason, our will, and our freedom, and to act in accordance with nature and destiny. Thus, time is a way of expressing our human dignity and our moral responsibility. Now, keeping this in mind and using it in conjunction with psychology, one way to attract and maintain other people's interest is to allow them to invest in you in a balanced way, without giving them everything they want or denying them everything they need. This is based on a psychological principle that people value what they've worked hard for more. When you allow someone to devote their time, energy, and emotions to getting to know you and relating to you, you are communicating to them that you are a person worthy of their attention and affection. For example, you can let them invest in you by occasionally rejecting plans that don't suit you, showing that your time is limited and precious. This does not imply playing with their feelings, but making them see that your time is a scarce resource that they should deserve. Remember the scarcity effect? Well, it's paying off. By doing this in moderation, you can get them to give you more importance without provoking their rejection. Psychological strategy that will give you priority number 5. Prioritize your needs. It's essential not to put yourself in a position where you're constantly not a priority for others. The truth is, you can't control how someone feels about you, but you can control how you feel about yourself by surrounding yourself with people who truly value you. You increase your chances of being seen as a priority. This step reminds us that self-esteem starts with yourself. Love, and by becoming a priority in your own life, you naturally attract other people who recognize and appreciate your value. Think about this. You know how much you're worth, and you don't accept less than you deserve. You don't sacrifice your happiness and self-esteem for someone who doesn't take care of you or consider you as they should. You understand that a healthy relationship, whether romantic or platonic, is based on mutual respect and consideration. You don't settle for less. Taking care of yourself is not being selfish. It is a matter of self-respect. It's about preserving your dignity and emotional well-being. You make it clear that you don't tolerate being treated as an afterthought or an alternative. Taking care of yourself sends a powerful message that you don't allow anyone to disparage your feelings or damage your self-esteem. For our wise Stoic ancestors, prioritizing our needs, and not those of others, is a way to live according to nature and achieve happiness. Epictetus believed that we should only be concerned with what depends on us, that is, our judgments, desires, and actions, and not with what depends on others, such as their opinion, their approval, or their well-being. Thus, we avoid suffering for things we cannot control and focus on what really matters, our own moral excellence. Of course, it is not only based on prioritizing our needs to feel good, but also prioritizing our needs to teach people that you and I are worth a lot. We know what we want, and we will not lower our standards. Psychological strategy that will give you priority number 6. Take advantage of a fascinating psychological phenomenon. People are often attracted to what they can. Not having this weed is a greener mindset that extends to relationships by not making someone the center of your universe. You pique their interest. It's about keeping a certain distance, allowing them to crave your presence. When you're not desperate for their attention, you become more intriguing. Over time, this can lead to a change in the perception that others value you more for your individuality and independence. It's a subtle way, but you can make sure you have priority. How can you achieve this? Well, what can our master of Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius, tell us? The image of Marcus Aurelius could be placed. Indifference is the most powerful weapon that the wise man possesses. He does not let himself be carried away by the whims of fate, nor by the passions of others. He knows that his happiness depends on himself, and not on what others think or do. Therefore, he does not cling to anyone, nor does he seek anyone's approval. He remains equanimous and serene in the face of praise and criticism, in the face of success and failure, in the face of love and hate. He does not give all his attention to a single person, but distributes it equally among all human beings, without distinction or preference. Thus, he arouses the interest and admiration of those around him, without intending or seeking it. Based on this wise teaching of Marcus Aurelius, we have the main key to the 6th strategy, and that is, don't let your life revolve around just one person, because that can make you lose your essence and your purpose. You have your own interests, goals, and unique personality. By maintaining your own space, you generate curiosity and attraction in others, who will want to know more about your world and what drives you. Your autonomy and your spirit of adventure are qualities that enrich the relationship. Keep in mind that you are not here to merge with another person, but to complement and support them while retaining your identity. By not depending on someone to be happy, you become more interesting and irresistible. By living a fulfilling life beyond the relationship, you continue to grow, learn, and bring a sense of dynamism and independence to the connection. This strategy is a reminder that you are a valuable person for yourself, and your presence in someone's life is a gift, not an obligation to their happiness. Psychological strategy that will give you priority number 7. Stop initiating communication all the time. Philosophy and psychology have studied the phenomenon of human communication from different perspectives and approaches. Some theories suggest that not always starting a conversation can be a strategy to arouse curiosity, mystery, and the desire to know more about the other person. However, this tactic can also have negative effects, such as generating distance, distrust, or indifference. Hence the importance of the psychological approach. It is not always seeking communication, but also not neglecting communication between you. From a psychological point of view, the human mind is governed by a principle of cognitive balance, which seeks to maintain coherence between attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors. When there is an inconsistency between these elements, a tension is generated that motivates the individual to resolve it. For example, if a person has a positive attitude towards another, but the latter never initiates a conversation with them, there is a dissonance that can lead to questioning mutual interest, affinity, or sympathy. To restore balance, the person may adopt different strategies, such as seeking more information, interpreting nonverbal cues, modifying their attitude, or changing their behavior. Therefore, not always starting a conversation can have different effects on a person's psychological mind, depending on how the situation is interpreted, the expectations you have, and the alternatives you consider. There is no universal rule that determines when and how to start a conversation to generate more interest in other people, but it will depend on the context, purpose, and personality of each person. Do you remember what Seneca said? Accept the circumstances around you and work with them for your benefit. So you know. For a healthy relationship, respect the other person's space and time. Don't be dependent or do everything for them. In this case, always start the conversation. Look for a balance between giving and receiving. Let them come to you and value your presence and your contribution. Remember, you're not just an option, but someone who deserves respect and attention. Don't chase love or friendship. Create mutually satisfying connections. Psychological strategy that will give you priority number 8. Create your own happiness. The next strategy is an internal state that is built from one's own will and not from external circumstances. According to this strategy, happiness is a personal choice that involves taking responsibility for creating and maintaining it without relying on the approval or support of others. This attitude of self-reliance builds confidence, balance, and attractiveness, which in turn favors positive social relationships. And what is more attractive, outside of the physical, of course? What a happy and radiant person with the same company. Happiness, then, is a virtuous circle that feeds back on itself and expands. To apply this vision, you can start by identifying the internal sources of happiness, such as values, passions, talents, purposes, or goals. Then, you can work on developing and enhancing them without waiting for others to recognize or approve them. Because it is not only about other people seeing you as an example to follow or a person that everyone wants close, but first of all, that you learn to love yourself and be happy with the person you are. What comes next are rewards from this, being happy with yourself. So don't expect others to make you happy, but seek your own happiness. This is the essence of self-reliance and creating your own joy. If you depend on others to feel good, you risk disappointment and frustration. By cultivating your own happiness, you not only become more confident and balanced, but also more attractive to others. This self-reliance is magnetic and draws people to you. When you're happy with or without external validation, you convey a powerful message. Your happiness does not depend on anyone else valuing you, which makes you a more interesting presence and therefore a priority in their lives. As Seneca said, happiness is the good of a rational soul. And Aristotle, happiness consists in wisely uniting virtue, contemplation, and external goods. I will take this space to tell my story, the same one that a few months ago made me feel bad about myself, shame, and sadness. Before, my advice, ideas, and my person were not taken into account. But one day, all that changed. I was a young man who felt lonely and sad. My friends didn't support me. It wasn't anyone's priority. They didn't take my ideas into account, and that made me feel insignificant. However, on my birthday, and almost as if he could read my being, my father gave me a book on Stoicism, a philosophy of life that taught me to control emotions, to accept what cannot be changed, and to act with virtue. I began to read the book with curiosity and to apply its teachings in my daily life. There were 15 keys that I am telling you here in this video that helped me get out of my personal hole. Gradually, I worked out a structure that worked, and thanks to psychology and Stoicism, I finally noticed a change. Not only is it no longer affected by what they think of me, but by applying these keys, they began to notice me, and my potential exploded. People around me were surprised to see my transformation and began to value me more. I have become an example to follow for them and for other people. I want you to follow these 15 steps too. I'm sure you'll be surprised by the changes. Okay, let's continue. Psychological strategy that will give you priority number 9. You should always be willing to take a step back. We must have the ability to let go of any relationship that does not appreciate us. This communicates that we accept no less than we deserve, and that we deeply respect each other. Imagine that you have enough strength and self-esteem to recognize when a relationship is not reciprocal or satisfying. Immediately, and without hesitation, you cut off the deal you were already giving to that person. Of course, this isn't done without first defining clear boundaries and standards for how you expect to be treated in any relationship. If someone doesn't consistently uphold those standards, you're willing to let them go, no matter how strong your feelings are. Letting go doesn't mean you lack compassion, but rather that you practice self-preservation. It's a sign of your self-worth and your refusal to sacrifice your well-being for someone who doesn't appreciate you. By letting go, you also create an environment where the other person can become aware of the seriousness of the situation. They will understand that they need to put in the effort and prioritize you if they want you to stay in their lives. By doing so, you also generate your own happiness without depending on anyone else. Being self-sufficient and happy makes you more attractive and desirable to others and allows you to enjoy healthier, more balanced relationships. As the French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre said, "Happiness is not doing what one wants, but wanting what one does." Why did you get into this video? To follow other people? Or for them to follow you because you became their priority? Psychological strategy that will give you priority number 10. Do not get attached to excess. You are here to be people's priority, but these last 3 rules tell you that you should not only love yourself and give yourself your own place, but also moderate what you want in your life. Don't get attached to excess. The next strategy is more of a rule, and that is to maintain an emotional balance when we want to be a priority in someone's life. The goal is to not let our emotions dominate the situation and to make sure that our needs are met and valued. Think about this. You're like a ship's captain steering the helm firmly. You navigate your emotions with elegance. You retain your emotional balance, which makes it easier for others to value your presence in their lives. You must find a balance between showing our emotions and staying calm. Emotions are valid and necessary, but being too emotional can sometimes detract from our true worth. By embracing emotional balance, we allow others to understand our feelings and needs without feeling overwhelmed. It is about communicating our emotions in a way that promotes appreciation without generating unnecessary drama. This attitude is attractive because it shows our emotional intelligence and our ability to self-control, which makes it easier for others to recognize and value our feelings and our presence in their lives. Remember that you are not repressing your emotions. You are simply expressing them in a way that promotes understanding and appreciation. As the philosopher Aristotle said, anyone can get angry. That is a very simple thing. But getting angry with the right person, to the right degree, at the right time, with the right purpose, and in the right way, that's certainly not so easy. Psychological strategy that will give you priority number 11. Be generous. Share what you have with others, whether it's your time, your money, your knowledge, or your support. Being generous has not only been proven to make you feel good about yourself and happier, but also more attractive to others. As Seneca said, "He is not poor who has little, but he who desires much." Generosity is a quality that involves giving without expecting anything in return, sharing what you have with others, and helping those who need it. Being generous can have many benefits for yourself and others, as it improves self-esteem, confidence, gratitude, and happiness. In addition, being generous can make other people feel attracted to be with you in both friendship and love, as it shows that you are a kind, selfless, empathetic, and supportive person. Generous people tend to have more friends and more stable and satisfying emotional relationships because they know how to give and receive, listen and understand, support and collaborate. Being generous doesn't just mean giving money or material things, but also giving time, attention, affection, advice, recognition, or any other form of help that can improve someone's life. Being generous is a way to express love and respect for others and to create strong, lasting bonds. Being generous, according to Marcus Aurelius, is a virtue that is based on reason, justice, and the common good. The Roman emperor wrote in his Meditations that generosity is a way of living in harmony with nature and with other human beings, following the principle of doing good and avoiding evil. Psychological strategy that will give you priority number 12. Be grateful. Acknowledge and value what you receive from others and express your gratitude to them. Gratitude makes you more optimistic, more satisfied, and healthier, and it makes you more appreciated by others. As Cicero said, gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the mother of all others. Now, getting a little into the psychology game, how do we show that we are grateful? With the rule of reciprocity, which is a psychological effect that is based on the principle that people tend to return the favors they receive from others. That is, if someone does us a favor, we feel an obligation to reward them in some way. This phenomenon has been observed in different cultures and contexts, and is considered a social norm that facilitates cooperation and trust between people. The rule of reciprocity can be applied in different areas, such as marketing, sales, negotiation, or personal relationships. For example, if a company offers us a free sample of a product, we are more likely to buy that product or give it a good rating. Similarly, if a friend helps us with a task, we're more likely to help them when they need it or invite them to something. The rule of reciprocity also has its limitations and risks. On the one hand, it can generate a sense of debt or manipulation if the favor received is disproportionate or unwanted. On the other hand, it can cause a rebound effect if the favor returned does not meet expectations or is perceived as an offense. Therefore, it is important to apply the rule of reciprocity with judgment and respect, taking into account the needs and preferences of the other person. But that's not all, because we can even show gratitude with our gratitude, thus generating a cycle of giving and receiving. When you realize it, you will already be the priority of that person who will trust you because of what you have already shown him. Psychological strategy that will give you priority number 13. Be authentic. Don't pretend to be someone you're not, or hide your true feelings, thoughts, and values. People appreciate honesty and consistency, and are more attracted to people who show themselves as they are. As Aristotle said, virtue consists in being oneself. Being authentic means expressing what you really feel, think, and desire, without pretending to be someone you are not. The psychological effect of being authentic is that it builds greater confidence in oneself and others, reduces stress and anxiety, and improves self-esteem and life satisfaction. In addition, being authentic attracts people who share our values and accept us as we are, which favors the development of deeper and more meaningful relationships. Being authentic does not mean being perfect or saying everything that crosses our minds, but being consistent with our essence and acting with honesty and respect. When we find someone who understands us and supports us in our projects, without judging or criticizing us. Being authentic does not mean being perfect or saying everything that crosses our minds, but being consistent with our essence and acting with honesty and respect. Let your true personality flow, but of course, always being smart with every move you make. Remember that you want to be the example to follow for many people who will later have you as a priority. Psychological strategy that will give you priority number 14. Be positive. Be positive. Look on the bright side of things and avoid complaining, criticizing, or judging others negatively. Positivity makes you more resilient, more creative, and more joyful, and it makes you more enjoyable for others. As Voltaire said, "I have decided to be happy because it is good for health." That's right. A positive person conveys confidence, security, and hope, which can inspire others to overcome their difficulties and achieve their goals. If you are a positive person, you will show others, and yourself, that you have a greater capacity to establish healthy interpersonal relationships based on respect, empathy, and collaboration, which can generate a climate of harmony and well-being in your environment. Now, what does a positive person look like? Well, they focus on solutions and not on problems. This will help stimulate their creativity, productivity, and continuous learning, which can benefit both themselves and others. To contribute to your positive appearance, since human beings judge before knowing by nature, let's apply the halo effect, which is the tendency to attribute positive or negative characteristics to a person based on a first impression. To cause a good halo effect, you must take care of your appearance, body language, and tone of voice, as well as show interest and respect for your interlocutor. In this case, do you want to be resilient, positive, that you are a mature being? Well, apply the halo effect. So, advice between us here, you should not only become a positive person who knows how to recognize and value your strengths, but also surround yourself with a positive social circle as well. I assure you that your life will be better. Between you will be able to promote your self-esteem, your self-efficacy, and your personal development. Psychological strategy that will give you priority number 15. Be empathetic. You must be empathetic. Put yourself in the other person's shoes, understand their feelings, needs, and motivations, and act accordingly. An empathetic person can become an example to follow or attract more people around them because they show respect, interest, and support towards others, which generates trust and sympathy. In addition, an empathetic person can communicate effectively, resolve conflicts peacefully, and collaborate with others to achieve common goals. These skills are highly valued in different social, work, and educational contexts, and can contribute to personal and collective well-being. As Plato said, "Be kind, because every person you come across is fighting a hard battle." Marcus Aurelius said that being empathetic was also a way to cultivate inner peace, another goal of Stoicism. The emperor believed that most conflicts and sufferings originate from attachment to external things, which are indifferent and do not depend on us. Instead, the only thing that is under our control are our judgments, decisions, and actions. By being empathetic, we can avoid judging or condemning others for their mistakes or shortcomings, and instead, we can forgive them or help them improve. Now tell me, do you prefer to give priority to a person who does not care about others? These psychological strategies will help you become a more attractive and interesting person to others and increase your chances of being a priority in their lives. However, it's important to note that these strategies are just a starting point. The key is to apply them naturally and authentically, without forcing your personality or behaviors. Remember that the best way to be a priority for others is to be a priority for yourself. Take care of your physical and mental health, cultivate your passions and goals, and surround yourself with positive and valuable people. When you love yourself, you are more attractive to others and more able to create healthy, meaningful relationships. Additionally, I recommend you to be a good listener. People appreciate those who listen to them with attention and understanding. Be a good conversationalist. Ask interesting questions, share personal experiences, and listen carefully to others' answers. Also, be loyal, reliable, and understanding. And for your partner, be a good lover, that is, be loving, attentive, and respectful. By following these recommendations, you'll be able to cultivate deeper, more meaningful relationships with others and increase your chances of being a priority in their lives. For more tips like this, follow us on this channel, so the Stoic family will continue to grow and we will form a better world with your help. Turn on the notification bell to keep you in the know when I upload more videos. Well, that's all for today. I say goodbye.